Namaskar. Today I will share my insights about belly breathing. It is the most well known open secret, and still it is the least observed and the most ignored secret of our life. It is the rhythm of life, it is the giver of life, it is the secret key to our well being, and it is also one of the master keys of knowing our being, for our awareness, and for our enlightenment. First, I will tell you a story about Diogenes before exploring a bit about belly breathing. It is reported that while Diogenes of Sinope was on a voyage to Aegina in Greece, he was noticed by a few pirates led by Sirpalus or Harpalus. Diogenes had such a healthy and stout body that those pirates were in puzzle how to get him in custody for auctioning him in slave market. Diogenes spread his both the hands and announced, "Here is the master who offers himself for the custody of timid and coward people." Those pirates took him to slave market of Crete in Greece, and yet no one found the voice to speak before the gathering of bidders that they have a slave for sale. So Diogenes himself announced, "A master is available for sale if any slave is ready to buy." Then he pointed out to a Corinthian man, Zenade, among the bidders. He said to those pirates, "Sell me to him. He needs a master." For that Corinthian man, Diogenes tutored his sons and managed his household. It is in Corinth, living in a cypress grove on the outskirts of the city, that Alexander the Great happened to see him and encountered his audacity. When Alexander asked him if he needed something from him, Diogenes replied audaciously, "Yes, you should stand a little out of my sun." Alexander was impressed by such a grandeur outspread that he said to his courtiers that if I were not Alexander, I would be Diogenes. This at easiness, such a well-being, this spirit of grandeur, such a magnanimity comes out of belly breathing. No one can tame a spirit so free. Even in chains, his spirit remains free. We know that the first thing we do once we are born is to cry. With that crying, we are taken as alive because our breathing starts. Till the time we are in mother's womb, we don't need to breathe. Even though the breathing mechanism, the lungs and its all paraphernalia is ready for breathing, because we get ready-made oxygen in the blood supply through mother's belly to our belly. They call it umbilical cord, by which we remain connected to mother and get all nourishment. It is such a state of total easiness, serenity and silence that no comfort of this outer world can match. In fact, psychologists say that our search for soothing bedrooms and comforting gadgets is the search for that nostalgic isness, serenity, and silence. So, the point to be noted is that till the time we were having privilege of belly breathing in mother's womb, we were in total isness, serenity, and silence. Have you ever observed the breathing pattern of a newborn child? Or for that matter, you may observe the breathing pattern of children before they get a little bit vocal. They continue with the same rhythm of belly breathing. They breathe thoroughly, touching their belly, and then breath goes out fully. You can observe their belly going up with the breath going in and belly going down with breath going out. And this pattern will continue irrespective of their crying or anger. And they instantly forget their crying or anger. They live moment to moment, and their past never dictates their present or future. So, the second point to be noted is that the blessing of belly breathing keeps continuing while we were children. But once we start to get societal orientation, we start bit by bit verbalizing and talking. We get toilet training. We are imparted a host of do's and don'ts. Then we learn the great 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. Then we go on graduating from kindergarten to university. We move from learning to earning stage and get more and more proficient in our socio-economic systems. And in the process, we keep losing the rhythm of belly breathing in our wakeful state. It is such a slow motion that none of us notice when we lost the belly breathing, the rhythm of life, which was bestowed upon us by this generous existence. So, the third point to be noted is that in the process of so many learnings and earnings, we lose the belly breathing. Fortunately, the belly breathing is still retained by our sleep in our deep sleep. You may observe anyone or get observed yourself by someone, and you will find that in a deep sleep state, we move back into belly breathing. In fact, we find our sleep totally soothing and nourishing. It is because of natural belly breathing. In deep sleep, natural belly breathing not only relaxes our body and mind, but it also relaxes all our nerves and psyche. So, the fourth point to be noted is that the belly breathing is retained by our deep sleep. In missing belly breathing, in our wakeful state, we enter vicious circles that lead to several negative consequences. First and foremost, there is reduced lung capacity. In missing belly breathing, we are habituated to breathe only with chest, and we are not fully utilizing our diaphragm. This chest breathing leads to shallower breathing, the least efficient for intake of air, resulting in a reduced ability to exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide. The shallower breathing leads to shortness of breath and difficulty with physical activity. We may experience reduced strength and stamina and even instability during activities like walking or running. In shallow breathing, increased heart rate and elevated blood pressure sets in, and both have negative effects on our well-being, on our physical and mental health, as well as on our nature of being. Inefficient breathing patterns contribute to chronic cough, hoarseness, respiratory issues. In chest breathing, the overuse of chest muscles leads to tightness and strain in the chest, neck, back, and shoulders. Shallow breathing results in imbalances in our nervous system. Insufficient oxygen intake negatively impact our cognitive and memory functions. It leads to increased stress hormones like cortisol and triggers the fight or flight response. When chest breathing becomes lifestyle, it leads to chronic physiorespiratory issues such as indigestion, constipation, chest tightness, and shortness of breath. Mental issues such as tension, anxiety, headaches, fear, depression, negativity, and miserliness. By our mid 20s or 30s, it seems that missing belly breathing is a state of paradise lost, and sooner or later we embark upon to regain that paradise of our well being, of our self health, for the pursuits of happiness, for a state of satisfaction, and to actualize oneself. All our attempts, remedies, and methods, and improved lifestyles are directed towards regaining belly breathing. Be it personal life and work life balancing as prescribed by medicos and motivators, or be it traditional wisdom as advised by family and friends, or be it some discipline praised by one or other religious spiritual masters. For example, Anapanasati and Vipassana practice, Sudarshan Kriya of art of living, Shunya Kriya and Shakti Bhav Chalan of inner engineering, be it our gym, health club, and yoga classes, or be it our traditional prayers and worship, or be it meditation camps and meditation resorts. All our attempts are to reorient our wakeful state towards our natural belly breathing. From the time immemorial, chanting prayers, rhymes, and mantras is practiced in all religions. The practice of singing religious scriptures and repeating same verses over and again is the mainstay in all religions, irrespective of their different formats and styles. All sorts of ascetics, saints, monks, fakirs, and priests rely upon chanting and singing as a way for their seeking. It is precisely for these reasons that chanting and singing is the most practical Brahmari pranayam, and the very process orient seekers towards awareness and enlightenment. We know that Upanishads contain pure knowledge and wisdom. They are considered the concluding part of Vedas and therefore called as Vedanta. As many as 20 Upanishads deals with yoga as the main subject. Some of these Upanishads, such as Hamsa Upanishad, बिंदु उपनिषद, अमृत नाद उपनिषद, नाद बिंदु उपनिषद, ध्यान बिंदु उपनिषद, ब्रह्म विद्या उपनिषद, योग तत्व उपनिषद, योग चुडामणि उपनिषद categorically discuss and recommend chanting of Pranav mantra Om as the means to develop awareness and to know oneself. Briefly stated, Pranav mantra Om seems to be made of A, U, and M. Depending upon your mindset, you may project or interpret it the way you like, but it is beyond interpretation. It is the inner sound. It is the universal sound. When all physical sounds are dissolved, none of them remains for listening. When absolute silence prevails, then too, that universal sound, that inner sound is listened to. It is a soundless sound. In terms of Jain Koan, it is one hand clap, consciously riding over prana by pranayama, or incessantly listening to Pranav mantra. Seeker can listen to it in Anahat Chakra, that is to say, heart center. We have discussed in details three topics, namely the enchanting effects of the chanting meditation, humming for harmony, and Brahmari Pranayam. A few insights. I have also shared Om Nad meditation and Nad Brahma meditation for different durations of 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. Later, we have also discussed in two parts the inner working of Nad Brahma meditation and Om Nad meditation. All these episodes and meditations are available on the channel Bodhse Bodhisattva of YouTube. I have found that Brahmari Pranayama by Nad Brahma meditation or Om Nad meditation is an utterly easiest and the simplest way to reorient ourselves to our natural belly breathing. Moreover, for the seekers of truth and bodhicitta, Nad Brahma meditation and Om Nad meditation stand as a self-contained technique or the process for developing both awareness and for reaching towards the state of bodhisattva, a seeker who is aware of his essence. You may try to listen to these episodes and attempt these meditations as if practicing Brahmari Pranayama and find not only the belly breathing but also the deep experience of meditation and the glimpses of enlightenment. To some seekers, these meditations might appear inactive and passive, but both these meditations are active ones, and persistent pursuance will lead to deeper experience. Thank you so much for listening to these episodes.